What is up, YouTube? Back for a little voiceover, full training session. So this is a Saturday session. What I do on Saturdays is a little lower body power and then upper body pump, shoulders and arms. So starting the session off with these kneeling jumps. Did 4 to 5 sets of these kneeling vertical jumps. Got up to 43 inches here. Sets of 3. As you see, knocked the hurdle off at the end. But I cleared it. Didn't hit it until I was coming down, so that counts. But did 5 sets here. Kind of just built up the height. So did dynamic warm-up. Started with just the 2 foam rollers, which is 36 inches, and then added a 45-pound plate, which is 40 inches, and then started stacking 25 and a 10, got up to 43 inches. So kind of just slowly warm your way up, especially with jumps like knees, ankles, really warming them up, getting you primed. And those first 2 sets I don't count as like real jumps because they're kind of sub-maximal as I'm warming up. And then once I start feeling good, once I start getting in the groove, then that's where I count them as jumps. I freaking love kneeling jumps though. If you've seen any of my videos, I do them all the time, but just that rapid extension of the hips, to me, I just get so much intent out of it because I extend those hips, I land, and then it's just full throttle from that landing straight into that jump. So super fun to do. Obviously, the hurdle setup gives you another thing to strive to reach over, but you could also do it on a box. You can do it standing. With this one, I like this variation where I go from the hurdle into the broad jump. So on this one, I just did 10 total jumps, kind of rested as needed in between. So ended up getting about like 25 quality jumps in. And that's what I've been aiming for, like 20 to 30 quality jumps, high output, high intent, resting as needed in between. I don't kind of have a stopwatch going, but it's not like, oh, I'm going every minute or so. It's rest as needed, making sure I'm getting intent, like any power movement. But those felt great. Hips were warmed up. And again, jumping before even a lower body lift, it will just get you warmed up, get you primed. Probably squat a little heavier, deadlift a little heavier, clean a little heavier because you're just feeling so good. So got into my cleans, ended up doing some wave loading from the previous week. So did 3-2-1, 3-2-1. Went a little heavier than I did last week. So first set I did 275. Second set was about 286. And then the third set was 302. Didn't record the last 3 sets, but ended up doing about 282, I think 290. And then I didn't get that last single. I was trying to get 308. And it was one of those where, I don't know if you ever cleaned before, but if you have and you get really excited to do it and you get stoked up and you walk up to the bar and then you end up just deadlifting it really fast, like you just can't get it past that sticking point of the hips. That's what it was. I tried it twice, couldn't get it, which is fine. Ended up getting 5 good sets. So I was pretty happy with that. I was pretty fried. So good power output, hips, felt springy, felt good that day. So that's all that matters. And then got into the upper body pump. So the shoulders and arms session here. I started with a dumbbell lateral raise here. I really like the standing raise. I've been doing a couple of different variations, but I like the classic standing raise. I like using a tiny bit of momentum, swing, not like a huge swing up, but bring them up, trying to think about a 1 second slight pause at the top and then coming controlled on the way down. I love doing those. Did 4 sets in that 10 to 12 range, essentially going to failure. And failure on theirs for me is just when I can't get that full range of motion. So usually it's like 1 rep past it. If I can't get that full range, like 1 partial, then kind of failure there. And then I supersetted it with this single arm cable rear delt fly. Really enjoy this one. Some isolation work here, so kind of reaching across the body. You get a huge stretch in that rear delt. Really isolate it. I had a huge shoulder pump this day, which was good because I never really get a shoulder pump, so I was actually pretty stoked with that. And as I'm recording this, my lateral delts are pretty sore, which is pretty cool because they never really get sore. So did this, so you're kind of like pulling across at that 45-degree angle. Big thing on that way back, nice and controlled, get a big reach there, and then kind of hold on that cable stack for a little added stability. Really pull through. Did 10 to 12 each side there. Again, that superset with the lateral raise, 4 sets. Really enjoyed that. On this second shoulder day, kind of doing a little more isolation, a little more bro bodybuilding isolation work, because the other day I do my heavy overhead presses. I do some lateral raise and some more compound shoulder stuff. So here, really isolating it. Try to drop the ego a little bit, try to get in that bodybuilding phase with those. But like those a lot. And then I got in the second lateral delt raise with the cable. Really like these where, again, holding on to that cable stack and you're kind of at a slight angle. Kind of similar to the rear delt fly. You're getting a huge stretch there. So really letting that cable pull you back nice and controlled and trying to get as high up as you can. So did 3 sets, 10 to 12 range here. Essentially going to failure on both sides. But another great variation. So a couple lateral raise variations I've been doing. Just a regular standing lateral raise. But recently, on the other day, I've been doing this mechanical drop set where I'll do a seated lateral raise for about 8 to 10 reps, drop the weight, rest 10 seconds, and then do a standing one and try to get as many reps as possible. So stuff like this, like lateral raises or rear delts, lateral delts, calves, biceps, triceps. I think for the longest time, like just through like kind of a sports background, like I never really did a ton of isolation work. It was always just hit the compounds, hit those hard, hit the pushing and pulling. And I didn't really do a lot of isolation bodybuilding stuff. But now, that I'm not playing a sport and I like lifting 6 days a week, it works because, each day it's not as fatiguing. I can do a little isolation stuff. It's not going to kill you. I consider it like a low day, usually when I do that shoulders and arms day or some extra abs and calves. And it's fun as hell to do. And I want some big ass shoulders, calves, and abs, Who doesn't? So it's been fun to start implementing those, learning some new stuff with that. So it's been really cool. And then paired that with these Y raises here. So trying to do a little more trap work. So the Y raise, going to hit kind of your lower trap, and then get with your trap, you kind of have 3 parts. Earlier in the week, I've been doing these Zercher shrugs. So Zercher shrugs, I really enjoy. You're holding that Zercher position, which if you don't know what that is, it's holding the crooks of your elbows, and you're shrugging up. A little different than a traditional shrug or holding it. Zercher shrugs hit kind of more that mid trap, and then these raises kind of hit that lower trap. So kind of playing around with that. Also trap, I don't know, it's cool to see kind of your traps pop out on your back, but also traps are good for kind of strengthening some health with the shoulders and everything. I more so do it because I want some big ass traps too. So there we go. Also, I never really did a lot of trap work. Never really done a lot of shrugs. So kind of playing around with that. Seeing how I like it, and also seeing how it pairs, because it does pair well with the shoulder movement. They don't really fatigue one another, so can kind of throw it in on a shoulder day or an upper body day at the end. And then got into the arm pairing, kind of a lot of focus here, but heavy tricep pushdowns with the straight bar. God, I freaking love them. I'm using like weights where it's like heavier than me, so I'm almost coming off my feet. So really got to glue down. Also, heavy tricep pushdowns are a full body exercise. I mean, my abs are like, you got to brace the heck out of your abs in order to push that weight down. It's an ab exercise, if anything, as well. So who said hidden arms wasn't functional? Hidden arms, super functional when you're moving stacks, baby. So ended up going there, that cable raise, and on 3 sets, like 10 to 12 range, on the last set, I did a rest pause. So I went to a failure. Probably got like 11 reps, I think, rested 20 seconds, and then got as many extra reps as possible. And I paired that with an incline raise. So incline raise, I went a little lower on the bench. Not that it really matters, but it was like a 37.5 degree incline, if you want the specifics there. But I got a huge stretch in that bicep. These, man, you can get such a big stretch at the bottom. I feel like my biceps are going to pop. It's awesome. But trying to do I try to do one bicep move where I'm a little more strict, like a seated or a preacher curl, and then another one where I'm just kind of ripping it. Not like a huge amount of momentum, but just a little bit of momentum, like a standing dumbbell, alternating curl, or a barbell curl, or reverse curl. So been liking these, been doing these once a week. And here I'm doing that rest pause method. So essentially wait till I couldn't get it up. I'm sitting here counting to 20 in my head and then going back and ripping some extra reps. I think I ended up getting 3 extra reps, but video might have cut off there, but finished with that, and then went into the second tricep and bicep superset here. Dumbbell skull crushers. So thing I like these and setting up on these, kind of have your hands not in the center of the dumbbell, but if you see, my pinkies are touching the top of the dumbbell, and that allows at the top of the movement you can really rotate your wrist, almost think about giving a thumbs up to the sky. Get a huge contraction in your triceps. Super good there. I love skull crushers. On the other day, I do easy bar skull crushers. On this day, I do a dumbbell skull crusher. Obviously, if you got good shoulders, super good for you. You can load them up. You can blow up your triceps. Super good. Good range of motion. And then I paired that with a reverse curl. So playing around with the reverse curls. Never really did a ton of these, but I started doing these the last couple of weeks as a mechanical drop set. I've been enjoying them a little bit. Get the forearms pumped up a little bit. Just a different variation to do. Always fun to throw in some variety here and there. So did those 3 rounds there in that 12 to 15 range, and then I just finished with some extra ab work, some cable crunches here. So abs I hit like 3 to 4 days a week just because I love doing ab training. I think it just stems back to when I was like in middle school, and the first thing you do when you start lifting is look up those 5-minute ab videos. But I love hitting some abs. So I'll do toes to bar usually once or twice a week, cable crunches, and then an incline reverse crunch. And usually I just throw at the end of a session, like not super fatiguing, still feel like I can get out a lot of it, but usually like 9 to 12 working sets. Well, that's the full session. It was a fun one. All right, this is the next day, Sunday. So Sundays are all about recovery, as in it's the only day of the week I don't train. So I try to up my recovery a little bit. Obviously sleep and eating handle that, but when you got a gym that's got this guy, the cold plunge in the sauna, you gotta take advantage of it. So I like doing a little contrast, so I'll go 20 minutes in there, 2 to 3 minutes in the plunge, 2 to 3 rounds, maybe 3 rounds today. But yeah, I try to do a little more recovery, obviously with the high volume of training, but it's shit like this. This stuff's fun. Also gives me something to do on a Sunday. Like, I know I need to take a day off. It's good to take days off, but I really have nothing else to do on Sundays. So it's like, this takes an hour, so it gives me something to do. But we'll hop into it. Also, I'm a little baby with cold water, but I've gotten used to it a little bit. 2 minutes is really all I can handle. I gotta keep my hands and feet out, but as long as I get in that Zen mode, I can handle it. And then one of the best feelings in the world is when you go from the cold plunge back into the sauna and you like reheat up for 10 minutes. Oh my God, it feels so good. So we'll knock this out, get into the recovery. All right, just finished that sauna session. It was awesome. Ended up doing like 20 minutes sauna, 3-minute plunge, 3 times. Feel great, feel good. But whip this up, some salmon, rice, asparagus, super good. Basically with my nutrition, I'm trying to keep it simple, trying to not get too overwhelmed by it, because I feel like you get so obsessive over the numbers, the macros, the metrics. So for me, I don't really have specific macros. It's more just try to hit a certain amount of calories and protein. So been eating around 32 to 3,400 calories per day. And then trying to get at least 220 grams of protein, which usually protein I'm probably closer to like 240, 250. Again, I love foods high in protein, so it's really not too hard. But I found like fats and carbs, I kind of just let take care of themselves. I eat the same stuff every day. I try to be mindful, like get enough carbs in for training and stuff. But I just feel like if you have to measure, or at least for me, if I have to measure 4 different metrics and overwhelm that, like, oh, well, this meal I can only have 57 carbs, 3 fats, and like 20 grams of protein. That's supposed to like, okay, I have 800 calories and I need this amount of protein. I feel like that's helped me a lot. So just maintaining calories, and then obviously like with the amount of training, like eating enough calories to make fuel training, but also enough to, because right now I'm kind of maintaining weight, kind of slightly cutting, but I don't know. I don't really go through cuts and bulks. I just kind of like maintain weight is what I say, and then I'll kind of lose a little bit of weight. So right now I'm sitting at like 196 in the morning. So over the last couple of months, I probably cut like 5 pounds from like March on. And I feel good. I feel strong, feel the same strength there, but definitely a little leaner. So I don't know. We'll see if I want to get a little leaner, if I drop a little more weight. I think it's an ego thing or a pride thing. It's like under 200. I was like, damn, I don't want to get to under 200. Now it's like 195, but we'll see. Maybe I cut a little more, but I do love eating. I do love food. So I don't know. I felt like the hardest thing was like, I was getting so obsessive over calories for a little bit, and I remember I'd binge eat like every now and then. So I try to make it as simple as possible now. So try not to get too overwhelmed by it and just try to eat off fuel. And like I say 32 to 34, but you know, there could be days where I have 36 just if I'm super hungry that day or something. And yeah, I think it's the most same, like almost those ebbs and flows instead of just being the exact same throughout the week has helped me. But yeah, as far as the nutrition, I eat 3 big meals a day, and then like a snack, or technically 4 meals, but the snack's like usually a bigger snack. And I think that's helped a lot, like kind of spreading out throughout the day, especially on weekends, like Sundays, since I don't work out, it's the off day. I end up eating a lot of calories early on, and towards the end of the day, I'm like, shoot, I only have like 600 calories. So Sundays, honestly, it's funny, it's like recovery day, but I probably end up eating more calories because I have nothing to do. And honestly, it's probably good because, you know, it's probably replenish some stuff and get me feeling good for the Monday. But that's kind of like my nutritional spiel. Like, I don't do anything special at all. Just aim for a certain amount of calories, try to hit a certain amount of protein. And then obviously I'm just mindful of the foods I eat. I try to eat whole foods, good foods, a lot of lean meats, salmon, chicken, kind of ground beef. I don't eat a ton of ground beef. And then yogurt, eggs, turkey, and then carb sources, rice, tortillas, sourdough bread, and then try to eat a lot of vegetables to fill up space, gives you a little more bang for your buck. And fruits, and I enjoy it a lot. So yeah, that's kind of my diet. Nothing crazy, but again, nothing that's going to get too overwhelmed. And again, I'm saying you don't really have tracked calories. I didn't track my calories for like 9 years. I only started doing it just because I kind of wanted to see where I was at and get a little leaner. But yeah, don't obsess over it. Try not to obsess over it. Keep it simple. It'll all work out.